Hello, I'm John. This is the ongoing story of the restoration of Corrick, a nearly 50-year-old Contessa 32. We're here with Nick, who has been appearing in a couple of these, and we're looking at just exactly where everything's going to go. I really do hope you enjoy this video. Nick's been involved in this story right from the very off. When I first saw the boat and started talking about how I wanted to use it, Nick was the sounding board that I came to, and he said, I think perhaps very presciently, the big issue is going to be where you put everything.
And now the big moment has come when most of the gear's arrived, so actually it's been a really good session today of proving that there is somewhere for everything, which is the major milestone ticked off. And also we've found where the right place is for things where it matters today where they go, because holes have to be drilled or they have to fit around other things that are going in later. But we've also avoided falling into the trap of making a hard and fast decision on where the things are that it doesn't matter where they go today, because what seems like a very good idea in a nice dry shed will not prove to be exactly the right place with a few days on the water. So there's time to fine-tune that and then settle into the pattern. In fact, that stuff will probably move around the boat over the first year or so until you get used to working with it and everybody else.
Yeah, so we've had the day-to-day, we've taken everything out of its packaging and had a look at it, exactly where it's going to fit, and all of that's making a lot more sense now that the major lumps are into the boat. As Nick says, there's a couple of holes still to be drilled in order to make things work, and we need to make sure we fit around that, but it's all looking as if it's going to come together nicely, and the last few bits of equipment have arrived, and so there's nothing really in the way of the plan. So we've got all the safety gear and we're having a look at how it's all going to fit. So we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing exercise of all the stuff that we looked at 2 or 3 months ago now, ordered 2 or 3 weeks ago, actually 3 or 4 weeks ago, and took delivery of just a little while ago. So unboxing. The gear had arrived a while ago and had been checked by James, but what we wanted to do is to bring it over from the container so that we could open things up and have a look at them. Well, we put everything onto the bench, opened the boxes, and the first thing that came out was the training manual that you have to have. Then we had the foghorn and the spare canister. These I want to make sure they don't get rusty, as they quite often do, or break the neck on them because they get trodden on. The lines for the drogue then came out, and you can see the drogue just in the background there. That is the throwing line that gets mounted on the push pit. The next thing that came out was indeed the drogue, and it's a bit of a bulky, oddly shaped sort of thing, so we'll make sure that's away somewhere where it can be got to when we need it. There are a few other things that need to be fitted electrically. So because we wanted to make sure we had these in the right place, we went back on board, unboxed them, put them, roughly speaking, where we wanted them. So we're going to put that sensor at the back end of the galley. The next thing that came out was the smoke alarm, and we think that should be high up and reasonably far forward. Here it's just in front of the mast. It'll maybe just be a bit offset by the time we get it into place. Quite bulky. The fire blanket, we obviously want to have that near the galley, but it needs to be in a place where we can pull it down nice and easily. So we've had a look at the brackets for that, and Nick, who's doing the work on the boat, knows where that's going to go, so we won't put anything else in its place. The next thing that came out was the contents of the first aid kit, and alongside that the first aid manual, although I must admit I'm very fond of the St John's Ambulance app that you get on your mobile phone for that, because it means you've always got it to hand. The next thing that came out was the container for the first aid box, and that will go into the locker here above the heads, where it should be easily accessible in an emergency. From a collision regulations point of view, there's the motoring cone, and that fortunately folds flat and stows, and similarly with the anchor bowl, and we'll be able to find somewhere nice and flat for those to stow once we've put the necessary ropes on them. Also, we have a number of life jackets, 6 of those, and so we'll be hanging those up. We'll probably put most of them above the heads, but we also have the arming kits, and I want to make sure that they're kept nice and dry and wrapped up in their boxes. Life harnesses need to be there as well. The other thing that we've got, and I'm not going to show you in this video, we'll do it later, but that's the hydrostatic release for the life raft. Now we've got the life raft and we've yet to make the chocks for that to sit on. We've got the flares in a different box, but the smoke, it was in this one. That's the smoke for attracting the attention of a helicopter pilot to indicate the wind at the surface. We have a floating torch with its spare bulb there. We need to mount that in a place just inside the companionway that you can get to it nice and easily. We also have an inflatable radar reflector that we would take into the life raft, so that bit needs to go into the... We've also got a number of fire extinguishers, 4 in fact, some smaller ones which are the 1 kilogram, and I think that might go there just very close to the engine. And there's also a 2 kilogram, and we had a look at how that might fit in the same space. Now we'll have 2 of them mounted inside the boat and 2 of them wrapped up as spares, so we might put the 2 kilogram there beside the engine compartment. It's a big old beast, as you can see, but we might have it either under the companionway hatch or by the mast, or we could even possibly put it inside the wet locker, but I'm not too sure about that. But we looked at all options. And notwithstanding the fact that it felt a bit like Christmas, there was yet another box of stuff to look at, so we opened that one up, and this was this had quite a bit more in it, including things like the bosun's chair, which is something that very often finds itself at the bottom of a locker, but we had the fittings that go onto the push pit in order to take the life rings. The life rings are there. They have yet to be marked up with the boat's name, and we're obviously going to leave that until the boat is out of the ship. We've also got the Dan Boy with a light that fits on top of it that needs to be fitted to the push pit. Also inside the box there are the tools that you need in the event of the mast coming down, so that is a set of bolt croppers that are sized for the rig that we're going to put on, and as a backup to that, a hacksaw, and as a backup to that not working, a set of replacement blades. We've also got a knife that will be fitted in the vicinity of the companionway hatch as a ready-use knife. There's a requirement to have a handheld compass, and that is that. What we've also got, and showed it a little bit earlier, that's the light that fits on top of the Dan Boy and activate when it gets deployed. We've also got the EPIRB there, and that is programmed with the boat's MMSI number. We don't that can be placed in a locker, as we will also do with the container for fresh water, which would be something you'd take to the life raft, as would be the container full of spares. So sorry, not container full of spares, container full of flares. So inside there is the various red rockets and white flares, red for distress, white for attracting attention, and they stay inside these reasonably, well, very robust, watertight containers. That container fits into that locker, which is just great. It was really helpful having Max and Nick down to have a look at this. It is a bit of a puzzle. We need to make sure the boat infrastructure is right, then we need to make sure the safety gear is fitted, and only then can we start to put our own personal stuff in. I indicated last week that the heater was the thing that was stopping us getting stuff done, and that's now underneath the boat and is going in. And in other news, Billy the electrician is in and has put power and Enemy A2000 up such that it can feed the instruments, so that work can start pretty immediately as well. So quite an exciting day, having a look at and unpacking everything. It felt a little bit like Christmas. Nothing much standing in the way. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's it. I'm going to do that again.
You haven't said, please like and subscribe. You're supposed to say, please like and subscribe.
Yeah, I don't really like doing that.
And for those who are on Patreon, want to fund me through Patreon.